Welcome to Gail's Garden Herbs and More. I wanted to talk about 3 things that will help you become more self-sufficient. And I believe it's Homesteading Family and Melissa K. Norris that are doing that. And I thought, well, I think I'll do that as well. And I want to start out with medicines. To make your own medicines, and it's not that hard, is to learn, it's to learn about how to use herbs in case you can't get to a pharmacy or are not able to or don't want to or have allergies to certain medicines. What are you going to do? Learn about the herbs. You want to be self-sufficient? Learn about things that are going to help you with your health. Now, it's hard to make that transition. This is my elderberry I trimmed back, but the reason it's hard to make the transition, you think, I can't learn about all those different herbs. Well, just pick 1 or 2 and start working with those. Learn what you can. Figure out what medicines to use, and then build on that repertoire. And the more you build learning about the herbs, the more self-sufficient you become in how to take care of your health. Now, you may not want to go 100% that way, but I would at least be learned, so if something happens, you have an alternative. But I think once you start finding out how really potent and how well they work, you may someday want to go 100% that way. Herbs are fascinating, but sometimes when we're in a hurry, we want to fall back to our old ways, and that's the same thing with eating good food. You want to fall back to what's quick and easy. You may want to do that instead of learning about the herbs. But if you just keep pressing on, keep trying, eventually you'll get there, and it is a wonderful feeling. I have used some herbs this year in very serious situations, and I can't always recommend that for everybody, but that's what I did for myself. Talk about feeling self-reliance. And I also want to talk about something else, and we'll get to that after I do the 3 things, and it will be the most important thing that maybe ties everything together. To become self-sufficient is being able to have water. Now, these are the, what do you call them, ICB things. They hold 250 gallons of water. Okay, now, this got pulled back, but it shows you what these are, and down there's where you would let the water out. But you want to cover this up so that it's under a tree anyway, but I still want to keep the sun off from it so it doesn't get a lot of algae in it. I've actually got 2 of these set up here next to each other, and I've got them sitting on pallets to get them up off the ground a little ways. And I also put a quart of colloidal silver that I made in it to help preserve the water. Okay, so they've been in there for several months now through the summer. We're still getting a lot of water. I may empty this when it gets real dry this coming year and then put fresh stuff in it. But you do want to have water backup system. We've been out of electricity several times, and I wished I'd had something like this. It will make it much easier. Okay, now this is just a 5.3 gallon water storage. It's called a water storage cube. It's all folded up in a package when you get it. I got it offline off of eBay, new. And I store water in it too. So this is handy in the house. Outside it'd be handy for carrying buckets of water to animals or plants or whatever. And in here, this is quick and easy. A little bit extra right in the house. And I can also, if I run out here, take this container out and fill it up from those as well. Okay, and then I have my Berkey that I can pour my water in from any of those, from storage, and what I use off the sink, I pour in there and filter it with those filters, and it'll get, 98% of all bacteria, viruses, chemicals, all of that stuff out of the water. The third thing, which I think pretty much everybody talks about, is your food. Growing what you can grow. These are apricots that I canned. And then down below what I did, I've got all kinds. I've got salsa made. Not a lot, though I'm running out of salsa. I didn't have a lot of tomatoes this year. I mixed, just to stretch it, I cut up little tiny cubes of zucchini, and I mixed it with my pineapple and canned that. And man, I can make the best cobbler out of that. You would not know that zucchini is not pineapple, and it just adds a richness to it. It's awesome. But little things like that that stretch your food, stretching your food, canning your food. Everybody knows about growing, which is really important if you can. But if you can't, just get what you, even if it's just a little bit, you can grow. Like the zucchini, you can get in abundance from one plant. But you can take it and stretch other things. Like I was having a hard time getting hold of canned pineapple from the store. So I finally got a case and I opened up some, and because I don't grow pineapple here. And I mixed my zucchini to stretch it even further, and that worked wonderful. So find ways and recipes to stretch what you do have, what you want, what might be hard to get. Find ways to stretch it and still get the flavor, and have a variety of things. You don't want to just have everything the same. I'll tell you, it's been wonderful. I live in the country and I don't always get into town. And having just a little bit extra things here, or something comes up and I have to make a cobbler or something real quick for a get together or whatever, I've got supplies here to do it with. And yeah, so probably the third most important thing is using your imagination, and as an example, finding ways to stretch your food. Use that brain, use that mind, think of ways for, to become more self-sufficient. If you just let your mind go to mush and don't use your imagination, help your children develop a good imagination. It's really, really important. I've talked about that on other videos when I used to teach. And one of the main things is I taught usually third grade, sometimes some of the other grades in elementary, but when I wasn't homeschooling. And yeah, do that. Teach your children. And even in homeschooling, teach them to use their brains, their imagination. And then when they become adults, they can think about things like this that come up and how to be self-sufficient. But those are my three things, I guess you would say. Herbs for medicine. Boy, being able to know what to do for your health and your medicine if you can't get it, and even if you can, is a wonderful way to become self-sufficient. Water is, you can't live very long without water. And use your brain, your imagination. If you don't have a good imagination, it's hard to be self-sufficient. You have to sometimes think on your feet and come up with things and mix things or whatever. So those three things are really, really important to be able to be more self-sufficient. And I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you give me a thumbs up, and we will catch you all next time. Whether it comes to your health and herbs or whatever it is that you're talking about, being self-sufficient, the first thing I'd like to say with this little extra tip is, and probably the most important thing, is a trust, a faith, and believe in God through His Son, Jesus Christ. And the Bible has a lot of things on health. And not just the Bible, but the leadership of the Holy Spirit, being in prayer, asking God's guidance, asking God's grace to get through hard things. I mean, there's just so many things, and it's so important that everything be tied together with your faith. And it's not your faith that does it, it's the Lord that does it, but it's your faith that gets you there. And yeah, I just want to leave you with that, and wish you all the best in this journey of self-sufficiency, and we'll catch you next time.